You are now listening to Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, the voice for the people. Join Richie alongside co-host property damage attorney Hans Kennon as they bring light to the taboo world of big insurance companies, exposing their tactics and fighting for justice. Hear stories from contractors across the state. Contractor Talk, here to protect homeowners and uncover the truth.
All right. Welcome to the show, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, live, 94.9 FM and 950 on the AM dial, every Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. here in the Central Florida area. You have a second shot at it. If you're not here locally, I'm sorry to hear that. Love Central Florida. But we have another shot at it. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on YouTube. And even on our Facebook page. And anywhere you can find us, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. Again, every Monday night is our live show. And there's even a call-in number. There it is, 407-774-8255. I fail to say that every time. You want to call, you have a question, you want to heckle us, whatever you want, 407-774-8255. That's between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Monday nights if you want to call in and ask some questions. I'm your host, Richie Kidwell. We have Hans Kennon, our attorney, in-house attorney here. It's just one call to Kennon Law. I'm getting really good at that.
That is good. It's getting better every week.
Yeah, thank you, man. We have our special guest with Skylight Roofing tonight on our show, so I'm excited to talk with you guys today. We have a great show for you guys, and even have a lurking article over here, which I was spying on a little bit, so maybe I'll announce it first.
Oh, don't steal my shine, Richie. Don't steal my shine, man.
And it's important to have a roofing company here as part of our show. We are sponsored by the Restoration Association Florida. We are by contractors, for contractors, and consumers alike. Contractors are only as strong as our consumer rights. We seem to be the only consumer voice out there.
Not many of us.
Not many at all. And Hans is a part of the Florida Justice Association, that FJA, that has a property, how do you want to say it, a committee, so to speak, that's designed, it's backed by attorneys, what they call the trial bar. When they're saying the trial bar in the state of Florida, that's what they mean. And what is going on in the property insurance market now the session is in? All this information is out by the insurance companies just overpaying their subsidiaries to the tune of billions and billions of dollars so they can go to OIR, the Office of Insurance Regulation, we'll call it deregulation at this point, where they were just giving out like these crazy increases like Oprah. They were just like, you get an increase, you get an increase. Tower Hill put in for like a 14% increase. They're like, here's 50. And it was like, what is happening out here? You know, to where insurance companies were just submitting for these crazy increases, getting more than what they asked for, and even just without any evidence of really even needing an increase. It's like, well, that's just what the market is, so let's just increase. And I was like, cool, stamp, you know. And so we saw all this fraud come out, and all this information has been out. What are they doing about it?
Well, not a lot, or at least not enough. We really felt that this year would be the year, given all these reports and what we're talking about a bit. A report was given to the OIR, Office of Insurance Regulation, in November of 2022 that said the insurers are lying, that they have money, they're just giving it all to their wholly owned subsidiaries, they shouldn't be getting all these increases, and they literally did not produce that report to the legislature at all. They instead literally hid it, and then December of 2022 is when all the legislation went through, took away attorney's fees to the consumer for my services, made things harder on the roofing companies, made things harder on everybody. Man. Literally existed in the drawer like a movie, like a John Grisham book.
It did. At the same as they were pointing the finger at roofers, and since 2020 till the end there, it was the roofers and the attorneys.
Evil.
That were the boogeyman. We called it the boogeyman. Every year there was a different boogeyman, and the reason why. That's why I became an advocate back in 2014 and founded the Restoration Association of Florida, a nonprofit association, because they needed a voice. There was no voice for the contractor, because back then it was the restoration, but prior to that it was the sinkhole stuff.
Right.
So it was like, oh, sinkholes, that's the reason why. And then 2013 they made some legislation, and then so they're like, okay, now what? Now they're like, oh, restoration contractors, they show up at 3:00 in the morning, make this 85-year-old lady sign an AOB that she didn't know, and then 6 months later find themselves in a lawsuit they didn't know about.
She did call them, I think. I don't think they just knocked on their door. So
that's right.
Okay, I was making sure they're not walking around knocking on people's doors offering water remediation services.
Right.
Okay, just want to clear that up for everybody.
And so it just tries to put a black eye in the marketplace and saying, okay, these guys, just because they use the AOB tool, right, that was the reason why. We're talking about the assignment of benefit tool. which was recently the law had changed in 2022, just like they did with the attorney's fees. It's like when DeSantis got the right run, and let me say, I voted for the guy twice. I thought he did great for us in COVID, keep all of our small businesses open. Then he got too powerful, too fast. What do they say? Absolute power
corrupts absolutely.
It absolutely does. And this is what it did in this way. He became so powerful that and some people say that they never saw this report, Hans, but it's crazy, to where the insurance lobby in the midst of a crisis pooped out $100 million to Governor DeSantis to run for president with a promise of $250 million more to basically do their bidding. And of course, he didn't move forward in the primaries. He didn't make it.
Yep.
And
he didn't make it out of Iowa.
He didn't.
Okay. I was gonna say,
he really did, but he sure did take the $100 million.
He spent the money. Yeah.
Right. And somehow magically he spent. But of course, he changed the law so he didn't have to disclose any of his expenditures or his cabinet expenditures right before he made all those crazy changes. Just like he changed the law to where he doesn't have to step down being the governor if he runs for president before he announced it.
Because it's such an honor to have him run for president.
Really. It's an honor to do his bidding. Yes. And then you see what happens. That's a quote from the Senate president. And so we found that everybody was powerless. And this was going to happen no matter what. It was a train that was going to come through no matter who got in the way. And that's exactly what happened. We had 3 special sessions and a major session that just knocked out attorney's fees. It just gave the insurance lobby everything in the kitchen sink, to the point to where we can't defend ourselves. Talking about the consumers when they're against their insurance company, they can slow walk you, they cannot pay you, they can act in bad faith, and there's no repercussions. And if so, you would be 10 year down the road verdict type of situation. So very, very frustrating. And, kind of taking us to now point in 2020, we got involved as an association when the roofers being attacked with all that solicitation language, Senate Bill 76. So we filed suit against that, called it unconstitutional, and it was, and it still is. And so what we've seen now is that they're just pointing fingers at folks that are working in the insurance industry only. It was very secluded just to that. Like you can do anything you want to a consumer not paying with insurance proceeds, but if you did talk to somebody that we were paying with insurance proceeds, you had a
whole new set of rules.
Right, whole new set of rules. How you have to solicit, advertise, what you have to say when you knock on the door, all that kind of stuff. And so brings us to today's marketplace to where now we're going into storm season, and people just don't have the right education, especially as a consumer, to what's going to happen now. We don't have the assignment of benefit, which is a great consumer-friendly tool, because you guys would go to work, all service providers would be able to go to work, put the consumer first, and then negotiate and get paid later on for the services that we've already performed.
Well, we always talk about the problem for guys who are here today from Skylight, from David and Jermaine, is that they're sophisticated. They know the market, know what to do, and the insurance companies don't want that. The thing they want the most, in many things you think about it, it makes sense from them. They want an unsophisticated, unknowing, non-challenging, not fighting back person to be their client. They don't want to see any of the 4 of us showing up and they go, oh, we're gonna have to pay this claim, because they know enough to know that we're not right.
That's right. That's right. And again, thank you guys for being here with Skylight Roofing. So tell us a little bit about you guys, about yourself, and how you got in the business, and what you guys are doing now to help folks put a new roof over their home.
Sure. Go ahead. So thank you. Thanks for having us on. So I'm Jermaine. I'm an account manager here. And here next to me, I have David here. He's the director of development. And so for me, I can speak for myself. I actually came in, I did a lot of interviewing with a bunch of different contractors in the roofing industry. And this was the company that I chose because of just what they were offering. It was not just, getting a truck. It wasn't just about, the money that I could make. It was more about the culture. In the company. And it was just the fact that I could go in and be confident that I knew I would have someone be there to be able to provide that actual home for me. A lot of these other places you go in and it's like, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go out on this day, you're going to knock 100 doors and then you make the most you can, that type of thing. And so that was what made me gravitate to Skylight. And since then, I mean, it's been amazing from the time I started. I was trained. It was a real training a full month of just going through, learning the ropes, learning the processes, and just being able to actually know how to take care of the homeowner. Not necessarily how you're going to get money from somebody, but how are we going to take care of our homeowner? How do we protect them? How do we educate them at the door to allow them, and sometimes to get them out of their own way? Because a lot of these homeowners, they're just thinking you're there to scam them, like the last guy that came to the door. And so for me, I love that I could go and actually be able to educate them and say, look, this is how we can protect you. And if you don't want to take our service, that's fine. But but I'm here to educate you and to help you. So so since then, I really grinded to work hard and to learn it, and it's been I've been successful. I've been able to do well with helping people consistently. I've learned more since I've been there, and I've had the support of David and Juan, the owner, and all the other account managers that are there. So it's been great. We have an insurance department, we have a production department, we have a repairs department, and everyone supports each other. So yeah, it's been great. But I'll allow David to say a few words.
And I think I want to just maybe say this, is that it's important to know that you guys have in-house repair crews. How important that is as a consumer, knowing that you're going to be able to service a future issue, maybe if I do have one within the warranty period, for instance. So many roofing companies are brokers. They're just paper roofer
almost
companies.
A call center. They're almost call center.
Right. Yep. And majority of them are they just have themselves as a salesperson, and they sub everything out. So they have to warranty small repairs, which usually either not going to happen or not going to be consistent. And I would worry about it.
Or they're not going to be around.
That's right.
We've certainly seen that too in our time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
Wow.
Why I allowed him to kind of start with it, because I want you guys to get the image of our type of team that we have here. Jermaine, the way that he speaks eloquently, educated with this is what we provide at Skylight Roofing. And, oftentimes in this thing, who's your competitor? Who's your people? At Skylight Roofing, we're in our own lane. The way that we have our culture set up, it's just we're not worried about anybody to the right or left. So the type of training that our guys get, it's not to so much persuade that person at the front door when you're knocking them, because that's what sales is and has been for years.
Yeah.
And they're not looking for that. We want to inform. We want to let you know what's going on. What are your options? And it's very sad, and a lot of the topics that we're talking about, that homeowners are just ill-informed of everything. They have this predestined thought of contractors and everything like that. And our goal is really to get in front of them, to show them an experience at another level, which is a part of our mission statement at Skylight Roofing. So I become very passionate with my team that we have over there, with the training that I'm so confident I can put one of my account managers against 10 other roofing companies, and I can say confidently that these guys know more. They're going to give you the best experience, and we're going to be able to help you the most. So we take pride in that, in our reputation at Skylight Roofing. And there's just so much business out there, and there's a lot of people that I know will do a good job for your roof, but at Skylight Roofing, we want to make sure that reputation experience just surpasses just trying to sell you on a new roof. We're not just looking for that commission aspect and why we're all in it, right? But it's just being informed is the main thing. And there's a good culture at Skylight Roofing. We're very happy. Not only the people that work there are happy, but the people that we actually get new roofs for, they're happy as well. And that's how we maintain good business.
We say at the end of the day, we all have to feed our families, but Johnny Cochran used to always say, you can do well and do good.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what all of us kind of aspire to. We all want to do well for ourselves and our families, which want to do good along the way. It's not just about the cash. For some guys, it's just about the cash grab.
Right.
For all of us who come on our show and have done this for many years, we're really in it to help folks, and that's why I think RAF's been a good organization, because it becomes all like-minded. And if you find someone else who's with RAF, you know that they have the same culture. Yeah. The culture is let's all work together.
Right, and let's put the consumer first.
Yeah.
I want to be here tomorrow, right? I don't need to make a grab today. I want to be here in the future. Not everyone do we hit a home run, and many times don't I know where we've done services for homes, build the insurance company, did all the work, and at the end of the day, we didn't get paid just from technical issues or a bad ruling or a bad judge, on the collection side of it. And we don't collect from the homeowner, right? I mean, it's a service that we've at that point written off in hopes to where I'm gonna help the next person.
No, well, it's a service you have confidence in and what it does, and what it does. And so the consumer still is better off for having known you, even if at the end it doesn't work out for the company, in all honesty, with the insurer. I think you build those relationships, and next time they need you, they call you.
Yeah, and that's how we be fair. We're not trying to close that sale immediately. We're trying to get there. We do the inspection. If your roof is in good condition, we're going to let you know, hey, you're set up. Your roof should last you about this much. Keep our card. In case you know anybody. Hey, by the way, do you know somebody else that might need our services? Because we're honest. They want to recommend somebody that is honest and know what they're doing, because a roofer's going to go up there if they don't have enough damage. That guy was probably knocking 50 doors, and they're getting desperate. Desperation never sells. No. So we want to make sure that we do that. And the big thing that sets us apart from other contractors or companies is the fact that we have a passion for this. The owners, Juan and Angie, God bless you guys, and shout out to you guys. What they created at Skylight Roofing has been a blessing to everybody, because it's through honesty, it's through integrity. Very, very hard to say in this type of, and in any businesses, right? There's a new roofing company popping up every single week. Right. Hey, this person's giving me a good rate. Did you know they just opened their company yesterday?
Yes.
Skylight Roofing's been around since 2011, and you got a very good culture. And the owner, Juan himself, who comes from actually doing the roofs themselves, blood, sweat, and tears in doing that. And then his wife, Angie, that he operates with, she was managing high-end hotels in the customer service. So when you take everything that she knew and he knew, and you put that together, that's what you got at Skylight Roofing now. That's
amazing. And you said a couple of things that would, if you were knocking on my door and offered to do an inspection on my roof after a storm, and there was a repair that was needed, most roofers are going to suggest a full replacement. An honest roofer is going to tell you exactly that. Hey, listen, it doesn't, you have some damage over here, but I think we can fix it. I think it'll look good. It'll stay up with the neighborhood or whatever it is. I'd rather do that, and I would go with that roofing company right away, just because they would offer that. So many roofing companies, like I've said, just only offer the one-trick pony. I'll replace your roof. And, in some cases after storms, most people don't save up for their one time of need, that one insurance claim on their biggest asset, their property. And so, a lot of confusion after those, during those times and afterwards. Who are we going to use? Who should we go with? Who should we entrust? And so it's very confusing at that point on, especially now, like if and we've seen it in a lot of these citizens claims, which was now at actually the 15th. There was 14 insurance carriers that we talked about last week. Right. They're at 70, that were under 76%, or above 50%, rather, all the way up to 76%. Denied. Well, Citizens denied 77% of all of their the two recent hurricanes here in the state of Florida and in Georgia. Well, they did the same thing in Georgia, and they found out that they were also declining that high of rate in Georgia. Anyways, but all these, like, say for instance, you have a citizen's claim, it's going to take you 2 years for you to settle the claim, or what they're finding out, unless you do this stupid arbitration thing that's 100% in citizens.
That DOH thing is dangerous.
That's wild. Just run. But anyways, but if you're going to be waiting that long, we were talking right before the show started, and not only do you have the full service plan that you guys offer, but you also offer in-house financing or financing that's available to the homeowner. Right. And what Hans has said many times, if he's able to recover for you, he can actually recover interest on the time that it takes you to get paid back or satisfied by the insurance company. So if I'm a client and I don't have the money, but I can maybe do it on my credit and get it replaced while we're waiting Ken and Law to get us paid by Citizens or whatever slow carrier out there. Because a lot of times, and many times that we've seen, you have a great claim, a bad adjuster, and that's what we run into a lot. And so that's where that help comes in. You mentioned you have an insurance department. It's a different specialty than the retail department, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a different specialty with that. And so can you talk to us a little bit about that, about how somebody that maybe would still have like maybe Milton damage today and would still want to call you guys to come out and take a look at it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You want me to take it?
You go ahead.
Yeah. So, that's like, you made a lot of those points. We want to help you however we can. The first option we like to look at is insurance if you qualify for it. And so based on our first inspection, we're going to look and see, hey, is there potential wind or hurricane damage where you could qualify, or hail damage or whatever that you could qualify for. So after you go through that process, if there's any other options, that's what we're going to look at. Or if you have been denied, like you said, we're going to look at those options to be able to help you with that financing option. So we have a few different a few different lenders that we use. And some are home equity based, some are credit based.
Yeah, the PACE.
The PACE program. And so we have some of those different options that we can use. And that's another layer to what we do and how we can help our homeowners for that. But I'll let you add a little bit to that.
Yeah, and it's just giving them the options. I've experienced other roofing companies. I've seen the tactics of what they have. Some people are just like, if it's not a full roof replacement through insurance, we don't want to do it. And to hit your point earlier about the repairs, we don't care if it's one single nail. If we have to just do that repair for it, because some contractors don't want to mess with that. It's not enough budget, things like that.
Right.
But you have no idea what that can turn into. So to go back to the insurance, I wanted to hit that point. But when we get to those points of having our reports ready, our guys do a great job marking up the roof, making sure that they have enough evidence so that we can submit to the insurance companies and have a good relationship with the adjusters, right? Because that can be fun in itself.
Oh, yeah.
So we make our guys go to all the adjuster meetings, hang out there, make sure that the client feels that they have somebody in support. But then we're there. We're not trying to bump heads with nobody. We all have the same kind of goal here. We're all doing our job. We want to make sure that the client's being taken care of to the best of our abilities and comfortable with it, because it's a scary thing. How many times have we knocked doors, or at least in my days, where I knocked on that door and then the client's like, no, I don't ever want to touch my insurance. I've been with them for 20 years and I've never put a claim.
Right.
You're so proud.
Yeah,
You're so proud of that.
they were so proud.
Yeah.
And then I always say this to the guys at the training. I'm like, look, and they tell me this. They give me a Christmas card every year. I'm like, well, so did they. 500,000 people in Florida got the same card. So it's almost like this thought. It's by fear. I don't want to bother them. But when it's time to cash in, and they get that reality, like, oh shoot, they weren't on my side the whole time.
Right.
So that's
not
where
in good hands.
we come in. We let them know stage by stage the whole process. We have some cool videos of some animation to let them know what to expect.
Right.
And we never want to do anything unethical. We're never going to promise them that you're going to get a full roof replacement. I promise you, sign right here.
Right.
That's nothing that we want to do. Hey, according to Skylight standards, you qualify. Let's go ahead and see. We're going to help you and walk you through this process.
And the problem I run into sometimes with some roofers who do over-promise, then folks come to me to represent them, and I got to tell them that it's not a guarantee,
Right.
which just puts everybody at odds. I mean, so if you're straight up at the beginning and say, look, we believe you qualify, we'll submit the claim, we'll see what happens.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that, but I got people come, they said I was absolutely going to get it. And then because now I represent them, I'm their lawyer,
Yep.
I have to say, well, that's not exactly how this process works. You have to go through the whole thing. And again, it makes everybody, makes the homeowner distrustful then of everybody.
Right.
So-
And the
Absolutely.
AOBs that you mentioned earlier, that is a big thing, and it's actually on our contract. We specifically say this is not an AOB. We want to dismantle any of those thoughts that they have from the past, because
Right.
how many people have you talked to, and they either been a roofer before, they've been around the block, they just watched something on the news, and they're so knowledgeable with it. But we take the time to
Google certified.
Yeah, just like Google Doctor when you know what's going on.
Right.
So we take the time to go through our contract, and what happens is a lot of these guys who just want that quick sale, the commission at the end of the week, hey, just sign here, and they're running. And the client's like, oh shoot, I didn't know how to turn over that contract, and it was a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So what we love to point out on our contract is that this contract is null and void if you're basically denied on your claim. So it's kind of like you're saying, like, let's see where this goes. You know,
Right.
there's no obligations. If you do get denied, then we can talk about the options of financing, and we do a plethora. We don't just do shingle. We do metal, tile, TPO, commercial jobs. We own our own metal machine and all of our equipment.
Yep.
So it makes everything just
Yep.
in-house.
And we cut on site, too.
And we
Yep.
cut the panels on site. And then if you have interior damage, you don't got to go ahead and find another contractor. We do
Right.
that as well.
Right.
Right.
The interior damage repairs as well. So
Correct.
for the
I was
yellow
gonna ask,
stains.
I was going to ask.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Well, in Tampa
great.
right now, quite of the stuff that come across my plate for guys looking for estimates on my team is just people who, like, the entire room either was on fire. It's very sad of what we see. So
Oh.
we just take pride. It's a passion for us. We genuinely want to help people.
Right.
That's awesome. And it really does take a village, especially when you're dealing with that one time of loss. The insurance companies always insist that you get 3 estimates for the roof.
Yep.
3 estimates for the interior.
Untrue.
And you don't need to do that. If you're listening today, it's just they're trying to burden you, try to paper you to death.
Trying to make it harder.
Make you give up. Don't want you to give up.
When they implemented that, it was very tough for the sales team because it's just like every time you knock that door, they're like, oh, I got to get 3. And it's just like, okay,
where am I? Am I 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Number. Let me roll the dice.
And that's great that you mentioned the contracts. Very exciting stuff. We're talking to Skylight Roofing. I want to dive into that a little bit more. After we take a break here, give some thanks to our sponsors. We'll be right back. All right. We're back live on 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial, or you'll find us streaming on iTunes, on Spotify, on our YouTube page. Find us there. We even have our website, Contractor Talk. Podcast.com. You'll have all of our podcasts there available for you to review. The easiest way is Spotify, iTunes, whatever phone you're on. I'm an Android guy, so I'm on Spotify more. If you're on iTunes, if you have an Apple phone, I call it the cult. You'll be able to scroll through it and find our shows. Today we have our special guest, Skylight Roofing. We both have, we hope we have both Jermaine and David here with us, and we're talking through the break. I think it's some important stuff to know as a consumer listening here in the state of Florida. It's like we're coming into storm season. Yep. We just had a weird tornado coming through a few weeks ago in Central Florida that ripped up houses, ripped off roofs. Yeah. So we are in for, they say it every year, so I'll say it all dramatically at this. We are in for El Nino this year, this time coming in through the South Florida corridor and wrecking all the way through, such as, No, Irma didn't come through that side, did it? Or did it come through that side? Anyway, but such to affect the entire state coming from that corridor.
Yes.
So if that El Nino exists, then we're going to be in for a rapid storm season. And so we mentioned before the break that Skylight Roofing offers free inspections to homeowners that are curious about their roof. And if they need a repair or replacement, and they don't trust a roofer knocking on their door that's just looking for the big sale. That's exactly what I'd be thinking if somebody knocked on my roof randomly. Have you had storm damage in the past year? Let me go check it out. I think you just want to replace my roof and get some numbers, for your commission. That's about it. And you're not going to tell me if it's a repair versus a replacement and all that kind of stuff. How you're going to be able to match it. What suggestions should I have? Should I put back on the same type of roof? Do I need to? Like, all of those things matter as a consumer. And then what if my claim doesn't get approved? Can I get it financed? But let's even take a step back. What does my roof look like now before storm season? So Jermaine, tell us about that. If somebody is curious about the roof and says, man, I haven't had anybody in my roof in a few years. I got lucky with Milton, and maybe I'm interested in taking a look at it and without being hard sold, because I don't see you as a hard selling kind of person either. So, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we like to basically just provide that free inspection. So the goal would be first to go to that homeowner's address, talk with them about the process from the beginning. So these are the steps. This is the way that it goes. It's a very quick process, to be honest. I mean, we don't like to take a whole lot of time. Mm-hmm. So from beginning to end, we like to take an hour or less on a full, and that's like a full insurance inspection. Mm-hmm. And so we'll tell them about the process. We'll let them know about submitting that claim if it's necessary, and we'll check on the roof. We'll look and see what damage that is there. We'll take pictures throughout. So we like to take pictures from the beginning to the end, so they know exactly what we're doing up there. So they're not like, hey, what's going on? What's he doing? They're going to see the damage for themselves, and they'll be able to see exactly what we see. I also like to use a GoPro and take a video as well, so they could see it cool. Live in person. Mm-hmm. So I do that too. But I
don't get on my roof either, so I would definitely be like, oh, cool, GoPro that.
Right. We all do something different.
Video analysis.
Right. But we like to do that, and I think we're kind of trying to implement some more of that. But and afterwards, we just come back down. We like to let them know exactly what we saw, and tell them, look, this is how we feel. We feel like you are qualified to be able to put that claim in for the insurance, or hey, you know what, you actually don't have a whole lot of damage. Maybe this would be better going the repair route, potentially. Right. But we give them whatever recommendation that we have, and then we ask them what they like to do. So we also keep it in their hands for what direction they want to go.
And if they're looking for a storm season inspection, would you guys provide that? And if you do, how would they get a hold of you?
Yes, and so doing a pre-storm inspection is just alerting them, letting them know, hey, look, the storms are coming. So let's say you have
let's get a good depiction before the storm.
Correct.
Hits, right?
Before, especially if you have missing shingles and such. Like, if you have a missing shingle or any type of water access points where rain can easily get directly into the home or underneath the underlayment or into the decking, we want to make sure that is not going to affect it more. So, of course, having those types of damages, we want to check because, decking plywood is a very expensive bill. So, and not only that, you can't tell if there's a leak sometimes for a year and a half or so, but just before you can even see it on the inside of the house.
Another thing that they usually say, too, is that I want to wait for the hurricane.
Right.
Oh my gosh! If you just did your pre-inspection and say you were qualifying under that, you're going under a totally different deductible. If you had to wait for that insurance claim, granted, very few people have a good deductible better than all other perils.
Right.
But you're talking about 2% of the dwelling and your $10,000-$15,000 deductible under a hurricane. But if you got it the week prior, you would have still qualified for a smaller deductible. Right. So there's a lot of benefits behind that. So Jermaine, why don't you tell them how they can reach you to get that inspection?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me at 202-847-9861. That is my phone number, and my email is jermaine@skylightroofing.com. So you can reach out there as well. And
Instagram as well, right?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at jermaine@skylightroofing.com.
Is that G or J?
J, with a J, yeah, with a J. And I think lastly, too, on that point, the inspection is free. So it's not like you're paying something. You're not writing anything. You don't have to submit anything. There's no payment. There's no card.
No obligations.
There's no obligation. So it's free. You should, if you have any question at all about the roof or the condition of it, I definitely recommend that you reach out to us sooner than later.
Right. That's awesome. Jermaine@skylightroofing.com. You can also look them up online, skylightroofing.com. Check out their reviews. I always say that if somebody's knocking on your door, then look at their not only their reviews, but look at their insurances. Make sure they have everything available to show you right off the spot.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It's
with
important.
Reviews, for sure. The reviews is a big thing. And what I like to tell everybody is that when you look at our reviews or any company's reviews, because I'm guilty of it. I go on Amazon and one negative review, I'm like, I'm not buying this product. I have 1,000 good ones. But the thing I like
toaster, that toaster is terrible.
Skylight Roofing, we're not perfect, right? So over the course since 2011, you're going to see the negative reviews, but we respond to every review. And what do they have in common? Nothing. Because we learn from every single negative thing. So, we got a good rating on Google, Better Business Bureau. A cool feature we added to our website is roofing estimates or quotes in under 30 seconds. So if you go to our website and you go ahead and there's a feature with a little pink panther on the side, it says get your roof quote. You're able to put in your information of your house and you're going to put some details in there, and then it's going to be able to give you the range if you're looking for shingle, metal, tile, and you're going to get a nice thing because sometimes we're a little too busy, right? And you want to just get a gauge of where you're looking at and what you should be expecting. So we want to make the process nice and seamless for them.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Especially for rental properties and things like that too, where you have tenants. You may not want someone to come and inspect.
Yeah.
Airbnbs, things like that.
Nice. And you mentioned seamless. You also do gutters and as well as
nice segue. Nice.
And as well as exterior fixtures as well. You mentioned windows and interior doors and then interior fixtures as well. I mean,
of course, yeah.
You just did a fence job too, right?
Yeah,
the fence blew away. We were doing some fence work,
fence work. I just had two fences go up. Definitely soffits, siding. I mean, any type of repair you need, stucco. I mean, we do everything.
So it's one stop.
We're a one-stop shop, 100%.
And we always welcome everybody. We're located on East Colonial off of 436. Come to our office. We have a nice showroom there. You're going to be able to see some samples. You're going to be greeted by us, and then we have a cool dog, Sky. He walks around there. He has a nice gold chain. So it's a lot of fun. It's a good culture. You're going to feel like family, and that's what awesome. We want to implement to everybody out there.
That's great. And one thing I asked you guys on the break, I was like, I kind of mentioned it before in our last segment, to where when somebody does have their one time of need and they file their insurance claim, their adjuster almost all the time asks them to do all the work. Go get 3 estimates for the roof. Go get 3 estimates for the interior. Go get estimates for the fence that fell down. And when they call Skylight Roofing, you guys can handle the entire estimate for the entire claim.
Yep.
which that's awesome. I mean, no more do you have to go to the painter, the stucco guy, the window guy, the roofing guy.
You're never putting that together.
Yeah, it's a headache. I mean, people don't want to do it in general.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want to pick the phone up in general. So I think for us, we're able to kind of comfort them and come in and say, listen, we can take care of everything. We're going to look for any damage at all, not just the roof, but we're going to be able to check. We're going to check your windows, your doors, your fence, or whatever damage that we see.
Yeah, above and beyond.
We're going to check for that.
It was funny, like last weekend, we had an account manager. I was checking in on him, seeing how his work's going. He's like, "Oh, I'm just with a client that I was with last week. She needed help. She's an older lady. I was helping her move her car. You know, it was dead batteries. I'm like, get our guys out here. Just, you're not even selling any roofs. We're helping, helping the community. So, it's just building the relationships, and we do it with a lot of love and passion."
That's awesome. That's awesome. And like I said, I mean, most people don't understand what they need to do in that one time. They just know that everybody's in a panic, especially after a major storm or event, that contractors are very, very difficult to get a hold of after a storm. They don't have the staff, or, they don't want to do the free estimate thing. Right. And so, and we talked about this on the break as well too. I think it's super important. Of course, I have a different knowledge of it, but as a consumer, I would then be worried about not only being able to, when I get the money in, to be able to disperse everything, because now all of a sudden I have to be an accountant, I have to know who I got to pay, how much should be paid.
You got potential for lien rights. You got guys you don't know, or somebody got out of whatever the treasure chest there, and
or different subs that you have to worry about leaving your home. It's a scary situation. And you guys, I asked the way you guys contract, because it seemed like, the model of the assignment of benefit worked so well because the contractor and the homeowner dispersed the funds, and we made sure that everybody got paid, and there was an equal understanding that we will get paid as soon as proceeds come in, and nobody's leaning homes and such. As a matter of fact, the law said you can't go after them for lien rights, you can't go after them for interest or collections or anything like that. It was very consumer friendly. And to today's contract, it's a direction to pay, it's communication rights, it's possibly a letter of protection if it goes to litigation. And that's as much as the protections as we can give, but those are the protections that the homeowner needs. Because then when they have a responsible contractor, then that's a privy to the money, they can disperse to all subs, they can make sure that the client becomes whole and don't owe anybody at the end of it, and maybe even get some in their pocket, any leftovers for any that would be outside of deductibly being paid. And sometimes that happens with good contracting and getting all the work done, where it actually works in the favor of the homeowner. So it's all about the contractor that you hire. And one more time, how do you get a hold of you guys at Skylight Roofing? I want a free inspection, maybe a pre-storm inspection. How do I get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, so you could reach out to us at 202-847-9861. You can also reach us to us at Jermaine at skylightroofing.com. So that's JERMAINE at skylightroofing.com.
Beautiful. Skylightroofing.com is where you read some reviews. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right. And we're back. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM. Already just discussing all kinds of fun stuff that you guys do at Skylight Roofing here on the break. Almost missed that, but man, I'm good. But our special guests today, Jermaine and David from Skylight Roofing, man, we learned a lot today, and we were just talking off during the break here of that. Remember when we started off that most brokerage companies and I say it like that, roofing companies just start up yesterday, where they all they do is replace roofs. They don't want to do the repairs. They don't want to do anything like that. They just one trick pony. I'm going to sell your roof. They're going to sub it out. That's how they make money. And what we've established here is we have a real company that has a great culture, that'll come and be an honest, with full of integrity, to ensure that you're not getting scammed by the local, or what they call the fly-by-night roofing companies coming in, and where you can truly feel safe. And we've established that you guys also offer a one-stop shop when it comes into doing estimates. Okay, I have an insurance claim. Okay, get the roofing estimate. Give me 3 of those. Give me 3 interior estimates. Give me 3 window estimates. Give me all this. And to where they can call Skylight Roofing, consumer can, and get all of those estimates in one stop. and how important that is, especially after a storm where you're not making all those calls to those different folks. You have one call that will truly do it all.
It's not required. I mean,
It really
when they say get 3 estimates, there's nothing in the policy that says get 3 estimates. There's nothing anywhere that says get 3 estimates.
Right.
It's just a tactic. So we talk about it like it's a required task that is hard. Right. It is a non-required, unrequired task that is hard. Again, just to put people off. There's no requirement to do that whatsoever within the policy.
That's right. There really isn't. And so you need a specialized team to help you, and it really does take a village, and they have a complete solution for you guys. And one thing that we mentioned I think was very important is warranty, to cover what you put on. So tell us about your warranty service you guys provide.
We back it up. You know, like that's a big thing. And what we were talking about prior to the break, when you said sometimes contractors are difficult to get a hold of, more so after that job is done.
Right.
You know, how many horror stories have we heard where the contractor, you know, they try to reach out after this and that. They already got paid out. It's very difficult. We have an entire warranty department. So when people call in, hey, you did my roof at this date, this time, we have all the files archived. We're going to send somebody out immediately. So it's not always, I got to remember who that account manager was. Just call Skylight Roofing, let them know that you had your roof done, and then we were going to honor those warranties. And at Skylight Roofing, we're a platinum preferred contractor. So you guys asked about the Pink Panther that I was wearing. Yep. That's Owens Corning. So there's one of 13 contractors in the entire state of Florida that have this status. And that status comes with a lot of different things, but for the consumer, that allows us to give you guys a platinum warranty. So the standard warranty across the board with contractors, just regular, is going to be anywhere from 5 years labor up until the 25 years standard warranty on the material. So with a platinum warranty, we're going to be able to take that 5 years and turn it into 25 years. So now we're going to be married to that client for another 25 years. That's going to give somebody a peace of mind. But only 13 people in the entire state of Florida can do that.
So that's labor and material for that, essentially for that 25-year period.
Correct. Yeah, and we have an entire training that we have in reference to that, and a couple of things that gives the client a peace of mind, right, is sometimes when they get those insurance scope of works, to go back onto that topic too, I've had clients that call with me, they were so scared, oh my God, I'm only getting $1,000 from my insurance policy. But our team is trained to, hey, let me go sit with you. We're going to let you know where all the money is delegated to. This is what your deductible costs are. This is your first check. This is what's coming in. So guys are well versed in the warranty, how to read the estimate, how to read an insurance policy, so that it's all honest visibility, because you get these people that sometimes they don't even know. They're like, okay, I got to find a contractor to do my roof for $2,000. No, that's just your first payment. Right. You know, they're holding on to the rest.
Right.
So it's just
a lot of times they do depreciation the opposite way. It's like, you hold 20%, not 80%. Right. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So warranties is a big thing. And, Juan Jaramillo, the owner of Skylight Roofing, he sits on the advisory board for Owens Corning. There's only one in the entire state of Florida. So he represents the entire state of Florida. It's a very honorable status that we have achieved through our work. It wasn't just selected randomly. It's because we've done quality work that we've backed up and met the standards of Owens Corning. Owens Corning with the Pink Panther is a pretty big deal.
And you can't just pay for it either.
You can't just pay for that. So it goes over the years. Yeah. And it's a quality shingle as well, considering, not just because we sell it, but if you actually look into the data and the stats and the warranties
it's a top
and compare apples
manufacturer.
to apples.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's actually a common like known thing about Owens Corning products is that they're top of the line product.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that's great. I mean, that would give me great peace of mind to know that I have a service warranty. Most people give, just like you said, the standard warranty is, all right, I'll give you 25 years on the material, and that manufacturer is responsible for that warranty. But I'm like, okay, it's still going to cost me an arm and a leg to put to get the services done. But you honor that for the full lifespan of the roof. I mean, that's amazing. Now, would that be on all roof products?
No, they're different. So obviously, if somebody wants metal, Jermaine, why don't you go ahead and give the metal warranty?
Yeah. So with metal, you're going to get, you have the option for the NDL, which is the
NDL is on the commercial side with the TPO.
For the commercial and TPO, yeah.
We're talking about 7 years labor with metal, and then you got the 40 years material
the 40-year
on
material,
that. So it definitely, a little more of a price than a shingle roof, but then you're talking about a little bit longer. So definitely by the coast and people who get all those metal roofs. And we talked earlier, we own all our equipment, so we're going to cut our metal roof panels right at your front door.
Yeah.
We're going to eliminate that middleman where we don't have to wait for nobody. Hey, they're going to give us this. No, we're going to be able to get you a fast turnaround, get you a metal roof.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Most people in the industry are talking about a long lag in material right now.
Yeah.
Are you guys experiencing a lag in tiles or other type of
That's a good
material?
question.
So, it's so funny because during COVID, that was $1 million question,
Yeah.
right? The guys are, the inventory, we can't pack that up. And for Skylight Roofing, it was just business as normal. So, being that we hold our statuses with Owens Corning and GAF Gold Elite members with them, we actually have stations in their warehouses, such as ABC and all these places that have Skylight Roofing material just there. It's ready for us to be used. So during COVID, we never had any shortage. We were just business as normal, no delays. Now you mentioned tile. It's kind of like the standard to get some tiles from California, but we do have options that for people that need it quite quickly, we do have a new connection that we have that is going to be in Florida. So now we don't have to wait for California to come through for those type of tile jobs, or even options where a community that only requires tile. Hey, we only want this, but they can't wait 6 months. We have products that are stone-coated metal materials that look just like tile, and the HOAs are approving those.
Right. Like a Decra.
Decra, exactly.
Yep.
Dekra's that.
Right. That's a great product. I have that on my house. That's the only reason I'm
wow.
Okay, nice. It's very nice.
'Cause we had tile, and we had an insurance claim, and with American Integrity and all those. Sorry, Integrity.
Yeah.
Disintegrity.
We got that worked out. But I have the Decra product, which is fabulous.
It's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a nice display in our office for the Decra.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of coast, I was actually going to bring up too about how we also travel. I mean, we serve all of Florida pretty much. And
the band across.
The band across, right.
Central Florida.
Right, all of Central Florida, right. And then we kind of go out a little bit, but
Tampa to Melbourne,
Yeah.
as high as Jacksonville down to Port St. Lucie, and Gainesville down to, just below Tampa, I'd say.
Right,
But all the
right.
way across there.
yeah, definitely
I-4
shout out to Tampa and definitely Palm Coast, because I'm up there a lot, and I serve a lot of people in Palm Coast. I got family there, I got friends there, but there's people all along the coast, all the way down to Orlando and Tampa. So,
Yeah.
I mean, really anyone in that entire space could reach out to us and we could get to you.
That's awesome. I mean, and it's a no obligation free estimate with a basically, if you have you guys come out, give you a free estimate. In my head, I'm getting a condition of my roof, an estimate to replace if I ever want to upgrade or replace my roof, and basically a pre-storm evaluation, because you're going to take pictures. And if a storm does come by, I'm going to be like, oh my God, Skylight Roofing took my pictures. You can now show and prove that the roof was there and now it wasn't.
Right. Our guys make files for everything, so it's
Yeah.
like it's not going to go disappearing anywhere. And what I created at Skylight Roofing is that when these guys are going to do inspections now, when you get an oil change, they put that sticker in your window. I'm telling these guys, they're going to give them stickers now. It's going to say your roof was inspected by Skylight Roofing, Jermaine, on this date at this time. And what we recommend is at least 2 times a year get your roof inspected. So this is now going to keep us in that limbo, just like that oil change mentality. So there's different ways to just keep them engaged that, it can just kind of weed out anybody else. They trust us, even if they didn't go with us right now, but we built that relationship.
Definitely. And I got to shout out David on this too, because that's also one of the things I love about Skylight is he's so innovative. Every time there's, I turn around the next week, hey, so we're doing this. This is new. We're gonna roll this out. No one's doing this yet, so we're gonna try it, and I think it's gonna work. And he's just like always super engaged, and he's trying to do something new. And I think that's what you want in in management in the company you
want
with.
Innovation.
Yeah, you want innovation.
We got to get ahead of the game.
We got to stay ahead of the game. So we do so many different things that I've never heard of that a lot of these other guys who've been around have never heard of.
Because
So
all the laws are changing. There's different stuff every day. You got something new for us, right? Something new. Something just changed today, right?
Look at that.
He segued back
Hey,
to
listen, man.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm
Softball.
kind of getting used to this here.
Threw me a softball. That was nice. And, well, as a matter of fact, David, here's something. And I didn't even tell Richie about it because I figured he'd steal my shine and start talking about it. Then, this is actually an article in today's Palm Beach Post, on the front page of the Palm Beach Post. And it's a discussion with Laura Loomer, who is an advisor to Donald Trump these days. She's posting about who in the Florida Senate is insufficiently loyal to her boss, Florida man, considering how many bills would bring substantial change to property insurance. They're advancing in the House, yet to receive a single Senate hearing. And her question was written, which is really great. Why is Ron DeSantis' lackey, Kathleen Passidomo, the rules chair in the Florida Senate, blocking Florida Speaker of the House, Danny Perez's Florida First legislation to lower insurance costs for the citizens of Florida? You know why? I'll tell you why. She's going to tell me. She tells us why. She supports DeSantis and his buddies in the insurance lobby, while Danny Perez stands with President Trump and the citizens of Florida as it relates to combating high insurance costs in the state of Florida. There you have it.
There it is. And in a spin that we all already know is that, and like what we said, how much power Governor DeSantis has, he still has so much power in the Senate that they have not advanced the companion bill that we saw Speaker of the House, Danny Perez, who was holding hearings, bringing up insurance executives, holding their feet to the fire, and is actually doing something on this information that we've all heard. And nobody on the Senate side is moving it forward.
Nothing at all. I mean, it's like it doesn't exist. Really, it's amazingly
It's literally
quiet.
crickets. And so we reported on this when we were halfway through the session. Now we're more than halfway through the session. If the first instance of the bill hasn't been put in, because it has to go through 3 committees in the Senate, and it's been assigned to 3 committees in the House. Well, it's already burned through 2 in the House, ready to go to rules. And so, but they put a pause on it because it hasn't moved at all. It needs a Senate companion exactly like it. It's not moving at all. It was referenced to the Banking Insurance Committee in the Senate. And so what we saw is that Senator Boyd was he started out being the chair. He was the chair the last couple of years. Yeah. And then this year it started out, and then he moved to vice chair, and then all of a sudden he's off. He's not even a chair member. But who has the power in that committee? Still Senator Boyd.
Right.
And you can tell he owns insurance companies and only is to benefit with all of those law changes that just recently happened, and would stand to benefit to block any things that would then hold their feet back to the fire again. Yep. So it's just unfortunate that those changes have not been made as they should with all this information out now. They made some dramatic change with all the information quote on the fake crisis that they put out from the insurance crisis, and none of that equaled out to reducing policy premiums for Floridians and giving some savings where they rightfully need it. Yeah, so, thank you guys for being on our show today, Jermaine and David. SkylightRoofing.com. Check them out today. Get a free inspection. They recommend every 6 months to get your roof inspected. Check them out, Jermaine at SkylightRoofing.com. Check them out, SkylightRoofing.com. David, thank you again.
Thank you,
Jermaine,
guys.
thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.